So we have already talked about the word waqf, right? And what does it mean? If you haven't watched my video yet, you can just click on the link below and watch it right now. So now it's time to understand the history, right? Why is it so much controversial right now? So to start, let's just talk about the history of waqf, how it all started. So let's just understand. Back in 1995, the Waqf Act was made to administer and manage the properties that were being donated. Now, obviously, if somebody donates something as big as of a land, it needs to be administered, right? It cannot be just done vocally. It will require certain people to complete the process, to transfer the property from one person to another. Now, it is not just about one property or one land. It is about donations that are being made, okay? And that was in bulk. So to administer and to manage all those properties, and then how it will be managed, how it will be used for charitable purposes. Under this Waqf Act 1995, certain provisions were introduced. So one of which is State Waqf Board, right? It will comprise of a few members of the state, mandatorily only Muslim people. And what will they do? They will administer the properties, right? What is being donated, how it is being donated, and how it is being regulated, and all that. The second one is Waqf Council, for the purpose of overseeing the waqf matters. The next one is tribunals. These tribunals will be basically solving the disputes. If there is any dispute, suppose somebody says that this is my land and I did not donate it, right? So this tribunal will act as a court. It will have the right to solve that dispute. And the next one is mutawalli. So they are no one but the managers, right? The managers of the properties. तो एक बार recap करते हैं. Basically, waqf एक custom है in Islamic law. To regulate this law without any issue, a Waqf Act was made, right, in 1995. So what started happening back then? There were many emerging issues. For one, there was a provision under the act called Waqf by user, right? This was a very arbitrary provision. Basically, if a property is long used by the Muslim community, it is automatically presumed, it is automatically assumed as a Waqf property, right? There was no legal paperwork, no legal declarations were made. So obviously, over time, this was going to be an issue. There are many sources on the internet that even describes the name of those properties. Let's not go into those details. I'm just here to explain that what is all happening. So moving forward to the recent amendment, the Waqf Amendment Act 2025. So let's just quickly discuss the key points of the Amendment Act. Now, before discussing that, let's just quickly understand what is the difference between an act and a bill. So suppose I want some changes in a previously made act. So what will I do? I will write those changes in a piece of paper and then I will propose it in front of the higher authorities, right? So basically, this piece of paper of suggestion of changes is called a bill. Now, after the proposition of this bill, when it is being passed, right, when it is approved, it is called, it becomes an act, right? So the changes that were suggested in the Waqf Act 1995, they became the Waqf Amendment Act 2025. Now coming back to the topic, the first change that this recent act suggested, it proposed changes to how a property is determined to be of waqf. Previously, as the sources say, there were no legal documents provided. Only oral declarations were made in order to add any property as a waqf property. But now, after this Amendment Act, Waqf boards must provide legal valid documents of the property that they have to certify. They have to show that these are the papers of this particular property and it has been donated to us, right? They have to be very clear and transparent about it. The second change that it proposed is a major one that is being very controversial, that non-Muslims can also be appointed as waqf officials. In boards and tribunals, they can also be appointed as non-Muslims, right? They have to be professional, they have to be experienced ones, no matter the religion. Thirdly, it proposes the judicial intervention into the dispute matters. So previously, the decision that was taken by the tribunals is binding and final. But after this act, the judiciary will also intervene. So briefly, this Amendment Act 2025 tries to improve the mismanagement that was because of the previous act. The most amazing change that this act proposes, according to me, is the women inheritance. Before this amendment, women could not inherit the property from their ancestors. After this amendment, women can also claim their paternal property as their own. And if they do not want it to donate to waqf, nobody can blame them. So positive or negative, we will see the after effects of this Amendment Act in the near future. But for now, this is what the scenario is. I hope I'm able to clear the picture for you. If you have any query regarding to this or anything else, you can just comment down and let me know.